Mitchell. Or you can be like Reynolds and Skiffle. Give it a Johnston and you'll get triple. Pass it to Cleary, you know he'll run the pitch. Score points like Jaboyevich. I'm game day fit, no need a switch. Cooking up like Quickie Man's in the kitchen. Who's that on the wing? It's Sivo. Score, try and do the Guffrino. Don't get too rowdy or too keen or you'll end up like Hasentino. Get a 40-20 like BCE. Run the ball like hectic cheese. Support runner, that's Pappenhausen. But I still got Teddy at the SCG.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to... I think I may have started a bit too early there, but hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Final Siren podcast. We got a similar video to last week's video today. We're just going to be wrapping up the preseason challenge, week 2 results, and overall the competition results as a whole. Faraz, you're here with me today. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Ready to talk some footy once again.
Sounds awesome. So now we're just going to, first off, we're going to go through the results of week 2's preseason challenge. Then we're going to head into a news segment where we're going to talk about, there's been a lot of injuries and a few people set to make their call on what their future is going to be. But first off, I'll start off by saying Davos and Lockie are sorry they couldn't be here today. Obviously, like we always say, personal commitments come before the podcast. But I'm sure they'll be back before you know it. We've got a few different videos planned coming up. Obviously, we've got season previews for each club. We may even do jersey tier rankings for home and away jerseys this year. With a lot of clubs coming out with new jerseys. So, and we've got a few things before the on the week the NRL season starts. We're going to do a few let's just say round previews like we used to do. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to today's video. So we'll start off with the game results. First off, the Eels defeat the Knights 36-14. For us, what did you make of this game?
Well, this is one of the only few that I actually didn't watch. I actually promise you guys I watched more trials this week. But for me, look, I've always said that, look, it's only trials and I don't really look into it too much. But for the Knights, I'm sort of worried, bro. Like, for teams like Newcastle that are struggling and trying to look for form and confidence, this was a result that just shows that where Newcastle might be heading in 2023. Like, they didn't look too bad in the early stages. I thought Tyson Gamble and Hastings were all right, but it was just had too much class. Moses was on fire. It's getting to that point where I'm sort of just talking about Caleb Ponga every week for Newcastle and more dramas, and the season hasn't even started. And look, it's only a trial, so you can only take what you get. But if I'm a Newcastle fan, I'm honestly worried. And Caleb Ponga, he had a shock out of 5-8 for me. He barely made any tackles. He was barely involved in attack. Yeah, look, I don't like where the Knights are going in this direction. But for Parramatta, well done.
Yeah. And before I give my review on the game, I just want to say hello, Luke, Melbourne Storm fan, and National Sports Loaded in the chat. It's good to see you guys, and thank you, National Sports Loaded, earlier for shouting out the page on your story and telling everyone to come watch this video. Much appreciated. So for me, I didn't actually watch this game. I did watch the highlights, I believed. Ponga did. I'm not sure. Some people were saying, oh, Ponga looked pretty good at 6, but from the highlights I saw, didn't really do much. I think he had 1 try assist. Maybe. I think that was the only thing he really did the whole game. Ended up with like 4 fantasy points total, which is terrible for a half. His
defense was horrible. And for Ponga itself, that's horrible.
Well, see, my main problem with putting Ponga at 6 is the fact that they put him at fullback and he was getting as much concussions as he got there.
Yeah.
Why would you put him up defending?
Can you imagine him against Nelson? That would be, yeah, that's the concern. But
yeah. By the way, for anyone in the chat, feel free to leave some questions in the chat. Faraz and I will get to them at the end once we're done discussing the results and also the news. But we'll move on to Seagulls versus Roosters. The Seagulls defeat the Roosters 28-16. Faraz, what did you make of this one?
Yeah, look, I didn't watch the full game of it, but from what it looked like, Manly looked slightly in attack in the first half. Look, the Roosters were missing a few plays, but Manly were missing Tommy Turbo and DC, so they were missing their genuine fullback and their half. And as we all know, that Manly are a different side without Turbo, and to beat the Roosters that had Radley, Tedesco, Suwali, all those players, I think it's a pretty inspiring performance. Look, obviously, like I said, it's once a trial. You just never know. Roosters maybe weren't playing 100%, but it will give the club some much needed confidence, and to see that they can win without Turbo would be a pleasing sight for Anthony Seibold.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I think the Seagulls, it's no surprise they end up winning the preseason challenge. I mean, it was a surprise, but I'm talking about now that everyone knows about it. But The Seagulls, they got off to a pretty quick start. I think
Right. They were up
to,
18-0 or something.
I think they were up 26-0
Yeah.
with only I think it was like 15 minutes left to go, and then the Chooks scored 3 tries in the space of about 6 minutes or something. I think it was like 26-16, and then at the end, Ruben Garrick just kicked a goal to make sure it was 12 points the difference, and make sure there was no comeback there.
Yes.
But so pretty piss poor defense by Manly at the end of that game. But yet again, it was their youngsters that were on at that point.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, really, it's no excuse though. You shouldn't be letting in like 16 points in the space of 6
But
minutes.
to be fair, like it is a try, and we saw what they did
Yeah.
when they had everyone on the first half. So yeah, credit to them.
Yeah, I've heard a few Manly friends of mine have been saying that it was reminding them shades of Manly versus Cowboys last year. At that point, quite a few tries in the space of those few minutes.
Yeah,
but
let's just move on.
yeah, Rabbitohs have defeated the Dragons in the Charity Shield match, 42-24. What did you make of this game for us?
Yeah, I actually watched this, and all I've got to say, it was a Rabbitohs masterclass. Like the Dragons, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I think like they were pretty piss poor shit. I'm just gonna put it like that. But they somehow managed to score 24 points, which was odd. But like I said, it's a trial match, so like Rabbitohs won't really take it seriously. And honestly, if they could, they probably would have put 50 on the Dragons on any other day in a regular season game. So look, the Rabbitohs, I'm loving them as their attacking side. Like Cody Walker on that edge. Alex Johnson, like once again, you're going to expect so many tries from Alex Johnson. That's just going to be the headline for South Sydney. That left edge combo. I think Latrell wasn't necessarily 100% on fire, but he's still doing the job, getting some game time. And mind you, these players are playing after 6-7 months. Dragons for me, they let in a few soft tries. Moses Imbai was all right. Like not really much praise from the Dragons. Tyron Sloan didn't really have a bad game, but he did have a good game, and it was sad to see like tearing up after the end of the game. And look, the Dragons for me, like I don't see them going far, and that result just proves otherwise. The defense was poor. I know they scored 24 points, but it's a trial match. Rabbitohs could have easily like scored 50, 60 if they wanted to.
Yeah. For me, it's surprising that it was the Charity Shield, but this is one I didn't watch because I knew Rabbitohs it was going to be a flogging. The Dragons did pretty good to bring it back at the end. I believe they scored all their tries in the second half, didn't they? Dragons, because I'm pretty sure at halftime it was wasn't it like 30-0 or something like that?
Yeah.
Something close, but yeah. It was a pretty good game, and from what I've seen, and congratulations on the Rabbitohs on winning again. Dragons, I don't rate them this year. I really don't. The club challenge though, this was a good game. This was a really good game. St. Helens getting the better of the Panthers by 1 point in the end in Golden Point. Faraz, what were your thoughts?
Oh, the Panthers lost. Oh, all right. Oh, gee whiz, what a game this was. Look, I'm not into Super League or anything like that. I knew the St. Helens were like the defending champions. I think they've won a 3-peat now, which is incredible. But I don't really know much about that team. Before I go, it's good to see players like Conrad Hardenberg, Sione Vitalia, and all these players back into the NRL that used to be former NRL players. Look. Can I be honest? I was probably expecting a Panthers demolition. Not because like I didn't rate St. Helens, but I just didn't know much. And I just thought Panthers are Panthers different beasts. They're too good of a team right now. And that sort of got over me. But it's not like I actually like thought much about this game. I thought Panthers easy win. And boy, oh boy, like St. Helens just proved everyone wrong. And St. Helens with this win have sent a message saying that like we're not any walkover bums here. Like and like they truly mean that like don't disrespect Super League. Like everyone just talks about Super League being a farmers league and like it's boring and it's like a joke. Look, NRL may be superior, but we've seen this happen a few times now, and the Super League have sent a serious message saying that like, don't shit on us because we'll come hard for you, and that's what they exactly did. Some content creators said they'll come 10th max, and like that performance shows what they can do at their seating. So credit to them. And look, it would have been so heartbreaking if they lost. They really deserve that victory.
Now I didn't end up watching this game. Which I'm kicking myself for because it was the club challenge.
And shout out to Jack Wellsby. Shout out to Jack.
Yeah, Wellsby.
Half the teams in our competition could use him right now.
Yeah, he apparently he may be looking at coming to the NRL, or multiple NRL clubs are chasing him.
Right.
So I hope he signs in the NRL. That'd be great to see. But
He was brilliant in the World Cup too for England. So
yeah.
surprised that.
But I was kicking myself because I didn't watch most of this game. I was too busy watching Australia completely fucking screw up in the Test match. And then I think I turned it on. I turned it on, and when I turned it on, there was like 20 seconds left on the clock, and I see it's 12-10 to St. Helens, and Cleary's lining up a kick from the sideline. I was like, oh, this is going to be good. So I turned it on, saw Cleary kick the kick. Surprisingly, I was actually going for the Panthers, which I then found out not many people were. I was just going for Panthers because they're the Australian team. I was sort of looking at it like Australia versus England. Obviously, I'm going to go for Australia here. But in the end, I was happy to see that St. Helens, they deserve to win. Obviously, everyone was saying Penrith 13 plus. I didn't see anyone not saying Penrith 13 plus.
Well, you think that's good? He's like, Penrith should declare half time. They ate so badly.
My goodness. But, yeah. It was just, I'm not sure. It was a good game, though, but by the looks of it. I'm kicking myself I didn't watch it in real time. But the next game is one I did watch. Broncos 20 defeat the Cowboys 18.
Before we move on to this game, also, that your point stands out. Like, you brought up the Appy with, like, the Rabbitohs game. They looked so unsettled of the Panthers in attack from what I saw.
Oh, yeah. That was something I've been bringing up for a little while. The Panthers, one of the reasons the other day when we did ladder prediction, I had Panthers dropping is just because you notice when Appy's on the field.
Cleary didn't look like the same player at all.
Yeah. I think it's just, not exactly what you'd want to see. Well, actually, it is probably what a lot of people want to see is the Panthers starting to struggle a little bit more. But I guess we'll have to see what happens with the Panthers this year. But Broncos versus Cowboys, this one was a good game. And what did you make of it, Fraz? I'll let you have a touch up on it first.
The breezy Broncos. Oh, they get the job done here. It was a good game, honestly. Like, it's your typical Broncos Cowboys games. Like, even though it was a trial, like Jesse after scoring the match-winning try felt like so good. And look, it's only a trial, but for the Broncos, like, I'm a fan as well. Like, this is a huge needed victory for the club, especially with the noise going on into the off-season. Remember, they were missing Adam Reynolds, they were missing Reece Walsh, and the Cowboys was basically full strength, except for him and Lukey. And Lukey didn't even play last year, so they were basically playing the same Cowboys from last season. And it was a great performance. Like, there was sure some things that to be improved on, but when you're missing your fullback and halfback, you're obviously going to struggle. But Brisbane, they were against the possession rate. 6-again count was insane, and they still managed to hold on for victory. The scramble defense was impressive, I'd say. I think Jock Madden proved his worth. Ezra Mann had a few good touches. Kirk Capel wasn't involved much, so that was a bit disappointing. Payne Haas was on fire. Paddy Carrigan, my God. He's going to be... You can tell the Broncos are a different team when he's there on the park, and yeah, but I'm still clueless to see who the number 9 is. For the Cowboys, they played a mean, hard game. Credit to them, but these games, it can go either way, honestly. I don't think the Cowboys played bad, but I think what cost them was probably James Tarmo's stint, where he, dropped the ball twice and he gave away 2 penalties. And look, it is what it is. It's just a trial, so we can't really take too much into it, but this performance does show what Brisbane can do.
Yeah. For me, I'm very proud of my team, and I've been a proud Broncos fan for many years to come, and that's as good of a trials.
Though, but yeah.
I mean, even in 2020, I'm still.
I was always watching the games.
I'm never gonna stop watching Broncos play, and this is just a reason why. I mean, Cowboys had 50. It was a 50-50 game. Cowboys 51% of the possession. They had slightly better. They had better set completion, more completed sets, more total sets than us. I believe one of the stats I think I pointed out to you guys
was that Brisbane lost their last few trials against the Cowboys. Was that
it? Well, not only that, but during the game, the Broncos made 330 tackles.
Oh yeah,
with only 21 missed, and the Cowboys made 285 tackles with 42 missed. They had double the amount of missed tackles, and we had to make what's that? 45 more. 45 more tackles.
That tells you all about our scramble defense.
Exactly. I think as for penalties, I believe it was pretty even.
I'm not one to usually blame the rest, but I sort of felt like the ref was sort of biased and the Cowboys were in favour, but it is what it is.
Yeah, we had more ruck infringements than inside the 10 metres against us.
I still don't get how they awarded that try.
What try was that against, sorry?
Remember that was the one in the corner where Tulagi knocked it on? Dean Marino came in and made the tackle, and the ref still awarded it, even when it was a clear knock on.
I don't think I think you're thinking about last week because Talley didn't end up getting awarded a try.
There was one this week as well. I think you have to go watch on the replays. There was this one try where Tulagi scored on the corner where he clearly dropped it. Marino came in with a try-saving tackle, and they still awarded it. Let's change it. Let's go back to the bunker. I think you have to watch the replays.
Oh yeah, how they? No, sorry. I thought you meant they fully award. They ended up going back to the bunker and then calling it off.
That was just fucking stupid.
Yeah, sorry. I thought you meant one that actually fully got awarded, but no, I'm not sure how they called that a try at first.
Yeah.
One thing that's been really annoying me with the trials is the fact that we've seen it every game. A player's gone over the line. They've got up and gone to play the ball because they know they haven't scored, and the ref has still sent it up as a try or sent it upstairs. What's the point of sending it upstairs if the player knows it isn't a try?
I don't get the point of like the ref awarding the try and just saying we'll just still check it. Just go to the bucket straight up. Stop playing with people's emotions.
I miss when I think you might agree with me, Faraz. I miss back in the days where the referees would blow their whistle, and if they're not sure, they'd either send it up try or no try. Yeah, nowadays, they're only sending it up if they think it's no try, and then when they think it's a try, they just award it and then go back and look at it.
Yes.
I feel like if they're unsure about it, I'm not sure.
It is what it is.
It's one of those things. But that pretty much wraps up my judgment of Broncos versus Cowboys. I think I'm just very happy with how the Broncos went.
A question for you though is that what would your hooker rotation be? Like, who would your hookers be for round one from the trials? Who would you? Because that was the last trial. So who would you go?
Corey Pakes, Blake Moser. I want Tyson Smithy in there, but he's on a train trial. I'd be upgrading Tristan Sale's contract. Yeah. And then I'd be probably starting Pakes, Moser off the bench.
I would go Billy Walters and Pakes. Got to play it safe, in my opinion. I don't know. I like what I saw from Moser, but it was only 10 minutes. But look, I don't feel it's right to debut him against the champions, defending champs. But it is what it is.
I mean, but to be honest, there's no better challenge than playing against the defending champions.
100%.
You definitely know he's ready if he plays well in that game. But I think we'll move on from Broncos.
Yeah.
Yeah. Storm versus Warriors. The Storm defeating the Warriors 24-6. Halftime was 6-0 to the Warriors. So 24 unanswered points in the second half. What did you make of this?
I didn't watch it, but I was going there at halftime sheesh, the Warriors might be on something in 2023. Noah's top 8 prediction might come true. And then the Storm just put their class back to the second half. Yeah, look, I'm not going to really judge too much on this performance, but it's clear to me that Sean Johnson isn't getting any better. He's getting simply older. And I'll probably go with Tamari Martin and Luke Metcalf for the halves, but they probably won't go with that. But it's just sad to see. But I just don't think Sean Johnson's the answer anymore. He's getting older. He's getting slower. His stepping game is ineffective, but that's what it is. And still, credit to them. They came back. They showed us what they can do. Not the most convincing performance, but nonetheless, a win's a win.
Yeah. The next game, I'll quickly touch on it, but I don't really have much to say. I liked what I saw from the Warriors in the first half. In the second half, I didn't like what I saw. That's about it. Yeah. Not really much else to say there. Tigers versus Raiders. This game I watched to completion. So I can actually give a fair judgment on this. And I might actually start us off for once.
Right.
Domination from the Tigers. Loved what I saw. Danny Levi looks good for the Raiders. From the Raiders, he looks really good. Tigers look amazing though. It's just a trial, but I think they'll be competing for the 8 this year. I've already said that in the later prediction video. I think once you add Luke Brooks back into that team, Api Coruscant, I think once you add who else? They were missing a couple other players.
I don't think Offengawi was there.
Yeah, he didn't end up playing Offengawi.
Was Papali'i there?
Papali'i did play, but John Bateman wasn't there either. So if you add Bateman, Brooks, Offengawi, and you add back in Api Coruscant, I reckon that on paper should be a top 8 team. It's just whether they jump on the chance for that.
Well, for me,
sorry, you go on.
For me, look, this game, look, the scorecard says Tigers dominant, and which they truly did. And credit to them. Like, for me, they're not going to be like winner split contenders. They're definitely going to be higher than what they were, but it's still hard to see because, like, to be honest, like the Raiders did take half their side off. Matt Frawley was in the halves, and you should expect to dominate from there. But look, even like the Tigers from last year, they'll probably bottle that, so that's a good sign going forward. And then you, like you said, add Appy Coruscant and Luke Brooks there. It's a much different team. So look, some positive signs for the Tigers. Yeah, look, that's all I got to say. I can't really judge too much, but Tigers looking a bit much more different from last year.
Yeah. And I just want to quickly say,
But Raiders fans should be worried.
I'll say.
Raiders
Well,
fans
for
should be
me,
worried.
I'm going to go the complete opposite. I don't like what I saw from the Raiders at all when they had their starters on. I think the one try they got of Danny Levi was quite. It was a good try, but it was also mainly just Danny Levi, and I think who was backing him up. There was someone who made the pass to him, who ended up kicking back. So yeah, I'm not sure, but for me, the Raiders got lucky with that one try, and for the rest of it, they had Fogarty and White on for quite a bit of the game. They had some of the forwards on for quite a bit of the game, and yeah, they were dominated by the Tigers. So I'm not sure. Raiders fans, you might have a bit of trouble on your hands this season. Is where I'm going with that.
No, I disagree. It's only trials, boys. But we'll see what happens.
We'll see. I mean, yet again, I did place Raiders at 14th this season or something, so
Yeah, bro.
maybe I want them to fail just a little bit. But Sharks defeat the Bulldogs 36-16. How disappointing from the Bulldogs. Terrible.
Yeah, look,
would you like to touch on it?
It's only a trial match, I get that, and they're going to probably work on it and get better, but especially this game being at Belmore and everything, like, that was so disappointing. Like, I know a lot of people are saying, like, they'll get to it and they'll work, but, like, this team is still unproven. We don't know how they're going to go. Serraldo hasn't coached a game in his life yet. Kiko looks so different. He was struggling there. Miney wasn't too particularly bad, but the pace per him, I just don't think he's a genuine fullback. I'll be playing Avarilla, though. I should. The Bulldogs, for me, their attack was slim. They couldn't finish their plays well. Like, they'll get into good field position, but their last option plays were horrible. Flanagan, look, he's not a bad player, but he's not how the Dogging suit the style. For me, the Bulldogs started doing something when Josh Reynolds came onto the field. He brought that energy and passion, and he's been there for a while. Look, it's only a trial, so I can't really judge too much, but this does show that, like, for all you people saying that Bulldogs would be top four and all that, like, even if you think they'll make the 8, it's not going to be a fast start like how everyone thinks it is. Like, it's still a slow process. Like, I'm just going to say, in my opinion, like, whoever has the top 4, you're just out of your mind, in my opinion. And look, Bulldogs still have a dangerous team on paper. They still can, like, dominate, but not look what I saw from the first game. But it is tough, to be honest. Like, I have my doubts on the Bulldogs, but at the same time, I think they'll improve. But even then, you still got teams like Tigers. They smashed the Raiders with the top 8. Broncos without Reynolds and Walsh, and they still managed to win their game against the top 4 side. So, I don't know, but we'll see what happens. But the Sharks played well. Hyde was on another level.
For me, I honestly think maybe I'd be looking at maybe playing Reynolds at halfback and having Flanagan just nowhere in the team, to be honest. It was disappointing from the Dogs.
I just don't think it's just the system, bro. He's not a bad player, but he doesn't suit the style of play.
The thing is, I think he is consistent, but I think the problem is he's consistently mid. He's just mid. There's nothing special about him as a halfback.
He's a good player. Not even good. I'd say he's decent, but he's not going to take them to the next level. Like, Jeremy Marshall-King was outstanding last season, but he's not going to take you next level. Reid Mundy's that type of player.
I don't know. I reckon they, honestly, looking back, I reckon Jeremy Marshall-King, he was their best player last year. I'm not. Yeah, again, they did let him go before that. So, but I reckon he'll be good for Dolphins this year. Yeah. And speaking of the Dolphins, we'll head to the last game and then we'll head into some news. But the Titans defeat the Dolphins.
Who impressed you?
Sorry, what was that?
Who impressed you from Cronulla that stood out for you, other than Hines?
I'm not really too sure. I think it was a pretty good game from most players. They had a really good game. Hines was quite good. I was quite impressed with Teague Wilton.
Yeah.
Because obviously I'm not sure if he'll be playing. He should be playing at the 12, unless they choose Wade Graham over him, which will be pretty stupid.
Right.
Jack Williams was all right. Cameron McInnes played pretty well when he was brought on. But Hines, obviously, I think Hines was their best player. I'm pretty sure. Didn't he notched up like? He had 2 try assists.
I'm not sure, but I think
pretty early, and didn't he go off? I'm not sure he played. Did he play the full game?
no, he didn't.
No, yeah, he ended up going off at one stage. So yeah, but obviously you come to expect that from Hines now. But we'll move on to the last game: Titans versus Dolphins.
Right.
Dolphins in the mud. Love that. Talk us through it.
Well, I mean, according to someone now that these are the Titans' sons, so hey Titans, you finally got a little brother there for you. So you're finally a big brother to someone for now. But yeah, look, 2 Queensland teams battling it out. This was always going to be interesting, but the scoreline was flattering. I thought we talked about it before that we possibly thought the Dolphins could probably beat the Titans once in this season, but the Titans, like, whilst they're still not top 8 material for me just yet or anything like that. They're still showing that a lot of people that have them like bottom 4, like you're out of your mind. These teams can like Foreign was amazing for them. Verrills, they look so much better in attack consistently in the middle with Verrills in there. Foreign with his long cutout balls, he looks so experienced. He found his wingers consistently. The Titans for me, look, I still feel like teams like Bulldogs, Manly, Broncos, Raiders will be better, but Titans are not any pushovers, and they're probably putting in a case that they won't be bottom 4. And people that underestimate saying that Dolphins could probably beat them and all that, like take another look. The Titans are a seriously dangerous team at points this season, in my opinion. They can score points, but their defense is key now.
I think for me, my main takeaways from this game were, one, Titans aren't a team to be messed with this year. I reckon they'll be in and around the 8, but I'd like not in the 8, but they'll be around somewhere around there. I reckon probably around 10th to 13th, maybe. I reckon is where they finish. 2 for me is Jack Bostock from the Dolphins needs to be one of the wingers of the Dolphins team. I think he was really great. He had notched up near 100 running meters, a try, quite a few post contact meters, a few tackle breaks, a line break.
Wait, but so who they
made most of his tackles.
Wouldn't they have Edric Lee and Isaac on the wing, though?
I'm not sure if they may have Edric Lee when he's back. Isako was in the reserve, so I'm not sure because I'm not sure. I reckon they're still figuring it out. But for me, Jack Bostock needs to be there because he looks like a young freak. 3rd for me, and this is a bit of a weird one. The Hammer isn't my fullback for the Dolphins. I think
he's a specialist center, and I think that's what the Cowboys realized, and that's when they put Drinkwater there because his ball playing was better, and that proved effective for the Cowboys into their premiership push. But yeah, look, it's an interesting one for the Dolphins. Like, look, I think this is what the result that it doesn't surprise me. Like, it's funny how people think that like, oh, they could be smokies to make the end. All that's like, no, like they're in their first year. They're gonna like, I don't think they're particularly bad as a team, but like they're gonna like they come into a season where like there's so many teams fighting for the 8. Even like the Titans this year, they're looking so much better. You got Broncos fighting for it. You got Manly. You got Bulldogs. And then you've got teams like Warriors last trying to avoid bottom 4. Like they're coming at a point where like there's so many competitive teams. So like I think everyone that has them smoking for the 8 is just like stupid. Like that's just my opinion because like they don't really have any experienced leaders. Like their forward pack has experienced players like the Bromwich brothers, Kafushi, but they're not effective players. Like except for Felice, but like there's so much that one man can do. Like Sean O'Sullivan will probably take some time at the new halfback role in the new club. Milford is just not the same player he once was. I'm sorry, look. I know I make the fact that I don't really like Milford much anymore, but like he doesn't like. Even I said to you boys, like Newcastle, he wasn't that bad, but he's not what he once was he? Anthony Milford.
No, but for me, the Hammer at fullback problem is I think, and you can correct me if you think I'm wrong on this. I think he's too lazy to play fullback. I was watching the try where David Fafita ran upfield, ended up passing to Jojo Fafita.
That looks soft.
The Hammer, he was...
Where was the fullback, I was thinking?
He made a pass in the line. He should have had to turn on his heel, so I get why he didn't get there. But at first, when he was running, he was jogging. Yeah. And then he saw he had a chance to catch up, started sprinting, realized he couldn't, so he just dived. And a terrible tackle. A terrible attempt at tackle. So... And his positioning is really bad I think he did notch up 110 run meters and 4 tackle
Right.
breaks, which was pretty good. But he had 2 tackles and 4 missed, which is terrible. And the last thing I've realised is Anthony Milford, for me, can't be the 6 for the Dolphins long term.
So who's their halves there? So you've got Sean O'Sullivan there, Milford's there.
And Isaiah Katoa, I reckon, should take over at 6.
Katoa should definitely be there. It should be Sean O'Sullivan and Katoa. Surely,
Even-
Milford has not
even-
won in the spot.
Like, even if you want to, while you're waiting for Katoa to sort of play a few more games in reserve grade, even if you want to throw Cody Nikorima at 6 for a little bit, I think...
Like anyone but not Milford. Milford's past it, bro. I just don't rate him anymore.
Like, look, this is his stats against the Titans, and he played a little while. 42 run meters, 1 post-contact meter, which
Oh my god.
3 tackles, 2 missed, 6 kicks for 139 kick meters, 2 errors.
Nah, he's not even like for me with Milford back then. Yeah, he was even like engaging the line. He doesn't even do that anymore. He's not throwing it in close to the line. He doesn't want the ball anymore. Like,
Yeah,
he's got tons of experience. Like the bloke's just like an overrated piece of whatever. Move on.
yeah. But so for me, that were my main takeaways from that game.
So would you say the Titans were impressive or were the Dolphins just embarrassing?
It was a bit of both. I was really impressed with the Titans and Khan Pereira. He was really good. I think Brimson played a solid role at fullback. Shoop was good. He was really good. Sammy was pretty good as well.
Jojo
Fafita. Sam Barrels. David Fafita was also good. Tino was good. They had a lot of good player performances. Aaron Clark and Mo Fodawaker off the bench were awesome.
Aaron Clark at 13 was... I think what helps him, he has another preseason under his belt to play lock because he was playing hooker before. For me as well, like with the Titans, as much as they look good, yeah, they still have players here that hasn't played a single game yet. So we have to see how they go. So round 1 they play the Tigers in Sydney. That'll be an interesting game because their record away from home is appalling. So that'll be interesting.
By the way, before we head to the news segment, make sure to drop some questions in the chat. We'll get to them soon. I've already seen a few people talking in chat. Thank you so much for talking in chat, and we'll get to them soon. But we'll go through a news segment first, starting off with the most recent news I could find. Taylor May is set to miss the 2023 NRL season with an ACL injury, and you hate to see this stuff. It's not good when any player gets injured, even players that you don't like or don't really respect to a level. It's bad to see them go out with injury. So, but what's your thoughts on that, Fraz?
Yeah, look, I generally because he was a rookie last year. He made his debut at last season, right? He was he was so good on the wing. Like he was scoring a bunch of tries. He was young, speed, energetic. What you want from a winger, like with the title with Carter and Jojo. But yeah, look, it's disappointing. I can't lie. At first, I was just joking about like, oh, will he serve his suspension next year and all that. But yeah, look, hate to see it. He's just a young gun, and this was probably his season where he'd kick on things. But yeah, it is what it is. But unfortunate for him. I feel sorry for him, honestly, because I actually enjoy watching him play as well.
Yeah. It's a bit unfortunate, but wishing him a speedy recovery. Hopefully he'll be back for when Panthers make finals. But even then he has to serve out suspensions. So but hopefully I can find something for the fans. That way he can make it back in time. But Mitchell Moses, he's set to make a call in his future this week, apparently. What do you make of this one for us?
I don't know. Is it going to happen? I hope it happens. I think it will be the perfect time, just right before the season. I think he'll sign with Parramatta. I think that's been the news and headlines. He'll probably re-sign. And I think that's good news for the Parramatta Eels. That's like the main man they want to build a club around. So yeah, look, I'm happy for Eels fans because look, as you know, I don't really like the Eels, but it is true that Moses took his career to a whole nother level when he joined them. So he deserves to finish his career there, in my opinion. But yeah, hope the Eels go bad. But yeah, this is a huge signing for them, if it happens.
Yep, definitely. I really hope the Tigers get him. Honestly,
Why?
I would love that. I don't know. I want to see him return to the Tigers. I want to see the Tigers actually start doing good. I feel like it's about time. And I don't want to see the Eels win the premiership either. So,
you don't have to worry about that.
not going to happen anytime soon. But similar to Mitch Moses, another player is set to make a call on their future, Dominic Young. He apparently wants it done before the season starts. Where do you see him signing for us?
So from what I've heard, he's probably either going to re-sign with Newcastle or he's going to go Roosters. I think he's just going to resign with Newcastle. But I wouldn't be surprised if he lands on the Red Chooks. I mean, that's just the Chooks for you, honestly. But Uncle Nick has something on the offers on the wings. But I think he'll start with Newcastle. I think that'd be good as well if they can land the Jamaican. But honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if he goes anywhere. We don't know with players, but I'm just going to predict he stays with Newcastle. But yeah, I'm keen to see him this year. This is probably the week he takes off.
Well, last time I heard, there was like 3 different options, which
Apparently,
was
Rabbitohs are after him as well. They were the favourites.
Rabbitohs. At one stage, Rabbitohs were favourites, but I have heard that that he did actually, Dominic Young did visit Trent Robinson's house, and we've never seen someone visit Trent Robinson's house without signing with the Roosters.
I mean, when you visit Trent Robinson's house, you don't leave Bondi, do you?
Yeah, exactly. So I think for me, I think he's going to sign. I reckon he stays with Newcastle. I reckon he's just trying to get a bit more money out of it. But wouldn't surprise me if he signs with the Roosters. In order, I think it's Knights, Roosters, Rabbitohs for chance of getting him. Yep. Even though Rabbitohs were at one stage favourites. But yeah, I guess we'll see. Tavita Pangai Jr. has suffered a calf injury and will miss the first 3 rounds. What about this one for us? What are you thinking?
Yeah, that's another injury. That's a huge injury. I think for TPG, I think this is probably the season where, like, if he doesn't perform, the Dogs will let him go. And it's hard for me to see him getting a contract anywhere else. But then you never know, the Tigers could swip on him. But this is a big year for him. Look, be devastated, but at least it's not like an ACL or like telomere or anything. So he'll just miss the first few weeks. So all is not bad.
Yeah. I think I'm wishing him a speedy recovery. I hope he goes well, but it's a bit unlucky.
But hope Tino's son's going well.
Yeah. Victor Radley is apparently going to remain with the Roosters.
Wait,
nothing certain yet. I thought there was some doubt at one stage, but apparently he might be in the works of just finally just getting that contract signed. And I think apparently he's close. He's close on re-signing. So nothing's like final yet, but it's reported that he most likely will stay in Bondi. Yeah. So apparently it's going to be an extension. So yeah, congrats to Victor Radley. It's well deserved. He's a good one.
If they can keep it on the field and if he can avoid getting suspended or injured, they're going to be a hard side to beat with him there.
Yeah, definitely. Sean Lane may miss up to 6 weeks with a fractured jaw.
Holy cow.
Yeah. That's not good for the Eels.
I mean, you hate seeing a play down. Look, I don't like Parramatta, but they've already missing Ryan Madison, I'm pretty sure, for the first 2 weeks. And then, this isn't ideal because Sean Lane was one of the more emerging players in the forward pack. Yeah, look, Parramatta, this is a big year for them as well. They want to make the 8. There's doubts of them. They still want to probably return to the top 4. So injuries like this won't help their cause. And look, I feel sorry for him. I think what's more disappointing for Sean Lane is that this could cost him an origin spot because I honestly felt, if he played the first 6 weeks and he kept his form, he'll be on huge notice and probably get picked for the squad. But I hope he comes back and kills it because he has a lot of potential, bro. I really believe in him.
Yeah. NRL concussion protocols are set to become more extreme. And I think I'll read out, this is a Sydney Morning Herald, apparently. They're considering an automatic stand-down rule for all players who have suffered a concussion. If a player fails their HIA, they would miss not only the rest of that game, but the next round as well. And it doesn't matter if they pass their HIA throughout the week and go through all the protocols and are fit to play next week, they won't be able to. So what's your thoughts on that for us?
That's just stupid. I don't rate it. I think they're trying to be too precautious here. So, even if they pass the HIA, they still miss next week. That's unfair for the players in my perspective. Just why? Yeah, it is what it is. It's just getting so hard to be with the NRL these days. I don't know what Valenti's up to, but look, I get they're trying to look after the players, but this isn't the way. It's going to frustrate players even more. Yeah,
and I don't like it very much either. Because if a player gets a head injury, then is free to play. If the next day their concussion symptoms are completely gone, then what's the point?
You're gonna probably see more players get ruled out for their clubs.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't like that one bit. Q&A segment. we'll quickly answer a few questions before we finish off.
Also, a question from you as well. Like, no, from seeing the trials, obviously you don't really change much, but like looking at your ladder prediction, are there any like doubts you have from watching the trials that may have changed your mind, or like are you confident with some of the tips you have?
I think for me, one of the things is, wait, let me quickly just double check. Bulldogs, I reckon I could probably move a bit lower now. Dolphins for me and Dragons will be competing for that spoon. I'm not really sure who'll get it yet though.
I'm sort of leaning Dolphins to the spoon for me, but for the Dragons, as we just heard, like the off-field incidents, it's just not helping as well. So it could be. I think Dolphins, Dragons, round 5, round 6, wherever they play, that could be the spoon battle right there.
For me, the main team that definitely rises from where I had them in my ladder is Manly. And I get it was just the preseason trials, and they get that they only won it. Yeah, it was the preseason trials, but for me, Manly have to rise.
So where'd you have Manly?
I think I had them 14th, and 15th. Sorry.
So where'd you have them now, as we expect?
I would probably have them, probably moved up to 10th or something. I'd move them up quite far. I'd have them competing for the 8th.
I had them 11th. I might keep them there, but depending. But Bulldogs look awful today.
Yeah. So that is what it is, and good on Manly though. Good on Manly for winning
And Newcastle stay at the bottom for me. I just don't see it with them this year as well.
I had Newcastle at 14, so I'm going to keep them there. But one team that really did impress me though this week was the Tigers. And I think you wanted to talk about this as well. Bulldogs I was really impressed with the Bulldogs. What about you? Who are you most impressed with and least impressed with?
I'm not biased. I just tell it as it is. I think the Broncos did really well, especially without Reynolds and like Reece Walsh. And like the Cowboys are really good now. Like they're a genuine top 4 side. They're a hard team to beat. Attacking wise, they're really good. Defensively, I think scoring 20 points was impressive without Reynolds. I think the scramble defense, everything that went against them, I think the Broncos looked the goods. But from an unbiased point, because it's still my team, I'm going to go with the Manly Warriors Eagles. Without Tommy Togo and DC, the performance they put up was impressive.
Yeah. Now, I'll answer a few questions. National Sports Letter says Ponga had a good running game and passing game, but his execution wasn't really the best.
See, the thing is, like, I agree with what he says. I think he would be a dynamic in attack, but like, it's the combinations and all that, and like he's literally one hit away from medically retiring. That's my worry. It's not going to work long term. So maybe for a few games against the lower sides, he might go good, and it could have ruined his origin chances as well. That's what I'm worried about.
By the way, thank you to the 7 viewers we have currently. If you feel like asking questions, put them in the chat. We'll get to them soon. National Sports Loaded again. For me, he wasn't bad, but after seeing his performance, I can understand why people want him at fullback. Yeah, I mean,
because he's a genuine fullback. He's a genuine fullback for me.
Yeah. National Sports Loaded, but I think Johns can possibly fix him up at 6, maybe during training and seeing on what they can test out to reach that attribute for him that they need. Yeah. I think John. If there's anyone who's going to turn him into a half, it's Andrew Johns.
So, question for you both then would it be? Where would you put Tyson Gamble then? So, do you think the Tyson Gamble signing was a waste then?
Well, National Sports Load has something to say about that as well just before. But at this point, Gamble is still better than Ponga at 6, but it is still trial, so it isn't really guaranteed if this will continue. I think Ponga needs to be at 6 because they've committed to it.
Yeah. Because they've already done it. Because if they want to gamble the 6, they'll put him in the trials there for sure. But it is what it is.
Yeah. It's just one of those things. It's like they've already committed to having Ponga at 6. I reckon Gamble's a better 6 at the moment. But if you've committed to it, you've already signed a new fullback in Lachlan Miller, then you just need to commit to it. Yeah. St. Helens shocked Penrith. I knew it from the start. I can't believe people said that Dragons would beat them 13+. St. Helens has done their homework against Penrith like no other NRL club can, and that's exactly what they did. They did their homework. They got the win, and it really was a good win. Congrats to St. Helens.
I actually tipped St. Helens to win against Dragons, to be honest, even though I don't really know
Same.
Much. Yeah.
I knew they were the best in the Super League, so I thought surely the best in the Super League can beat the worst in the NRL.
Team?
I think Nick is Salford Red Devils.
All right.
Yeah, they have Brody Croft until 2030 apparently.
7-year deal. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Do you think he'll stay to it? Do you think he'll stay loyal to it?
No. Apparently there's a release clause after every year possible.
That's a red flag. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big red flag in the contract.
A year. So not even every 2-3 years. Okay.
No, after every year, apparently.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's after every single year or at a certain point after every year, but apparently after every year, there's going to be a release clause in this contract. Thank you to the 9 viewers we currently have. Make sure to add some comments in the chat. Anyone seen? Johnny Lomax grubber kicks were slick. I didn't really watch the game too much, but I did see he got a lot of fantasy points and played really well.
Right.
Anyone seen BKR Sports comment on St. Helens when he said that? I'm guessing that's meant to be Penrith, maybe would not compete to NRL regular season level. BKR's a dead set dickhead, so I don't care what he says.
Do you know what the comment was or nah?
No.
So the comment was, I think that in head-to-head toes, if St. Helens were to be in the NRL competition right now, they'll come maximum 10. They don't have enough consistency to go with NRL clubs every week, and I think that he said that they'll probably come best 10th position, and then they didn't expect them to see them beating Penrith on the same night. Look, his opinion and whatnot, but if you say your opinion and you get a dead set wrong, you have to cop it, and that's what happened. The underdog thing happened. You got proven wrong. It happens. Look, you're allowed to have an opinion. Even say for me, I can't lie. I probably have Panthers winning 13+, so you got to cop it. So look, BKR, he had an opinion. That's fair enough, and he got proven wrong, just like anyone else.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't care what BKR says. I've never cared what BKR says because BKR's a dickhead. So, yeah, not much else to say there. Faraz, bro, how are you? That's a nice question, Ryan.
I'm good, mate. How are you?
John T. Mart says Manly are just the best. Manly going top 8. Broncos suck. And then he's posted a picture of an eagle in there. Good on you, John T.
Bro. Okay, can you do 40 minus 2? Just do that for me, yeah? And then what's 0 plus 0? Yeah, you can figure that scoreline out later.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I think St. Helens are the type of club to destroy the Broncos.
Dude, what's with the Broncos slander?
There's a lot of Broncos slander in the chat today.
Well, the thing is, I think Brisbane played someone in the World Cup Challenge in 2017. I think it was Wigan, and they lost. So this wouldn't surprise me. But that's what I'm just going off, I guess.
Yeah. National Sports Loader says this will give Murchie and Moimazia the starters for the back row. That's for the Eels because of Lane and Madison being out. And hopefully they perform. I'm looking forward to seeing how well they go. Quick question. Who would win? What the freaking frick? We're a family-friendly channel, guys. You can't be posting that stuff in here. I need to read the stuff before posting it up on the screen. I'm so sorry. Joe Mama, you've been blocked for 5 minutes, mate. Get that stuff out of your mouth, and then maybe we'll talk. Ryan Hughes says most overhyped team going into 2023.
You go first.
Bulldogs for me.
This is tough, bro. I think maybe Bulldogs, I guess, after their recent performance, but because I think people are expecting Bulldogs top 4 and whatnot, but I think Bulldogs will improve. But yeah.
Yeah, damn. I think it's Bulldogs, and I think next up after Bulldogs is possibly. I reckon Roosters are being quite hyped up.
Yeah, but that's the Roosters. I mean, I guess it's fair.
They'll definitely be top 8, but Roosters are being hyped up for they're definitely going to get minor premiership. For me, still got a little way
it's always the same pick. Yeah, they haven't won it for 3 years. It's been the same pick for 3 years now. They haven't really justified it.
Yeah. Will Broncos make the top 8? For me, yes, but it'll change for a lot of different people. I have them around anywhere between 7th to 12th is the bracket I have them in.
I have them from 6th to 11th in my range.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess we'll have to see what happens, but hopefully the Broncos can finish in the top 8. I'd love to see them back in. Possibly Raiders. I think this is Ryan also saying maybe most overhyped team going 2023.
I think they're always being underdogs.
I think they're a bit underhyped, yeah.
Yeah,
to be honest.
they're not really a team to be really talked about much, but that is mine.
But after the Tigers game, though, I definitely don't have them in my top 8.
But would you?
I mean, I know it was a trial
after one game, just like that.
Yes, I really would. I just don't. I didn't like what I saw, honestly. Raiders up there too with the Dogs. Yeah. For most overhyped team, definitely. They're both 2 overhyped teams.
Right, I think your Titans are overhyped. No, I'm joking.
Yeah. For me, it has to be them.
Underhyped, to be honest. They could probably make even 10 at their best, even 9.
Yeah, I reckon
I don't think
Tigers
they'll
are on
make
the
just
hype
yet, but they'll be close if they can put it all together.
Now, I'll leave 1 minute quickly open for any more questions to be put into the chat, and we'll have a quick look. But before we do that, I just want to quickly promote our Instagram at the Final Siren Podcast. Make sure you go follow that. I'll keep you updated on whenever we're posting. We've got some more videos coming soon. Jersey rankings for this year. It's going to be great. NRL season previews, round previews. We also do pre-game coverage where we'll talk about our tips and same game multis even this season, just like we did at the end of last season. So I can't wait for that. Can't wait. We'll be doing a bit of commentary this season as well. So definitely be looking forward to it whenever we can. But no more comments have been put in the chat. That will end us off. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in tonight. It's been absolutely great to have you here with Fraz and myself. Just again, like I said before, make sure to go follow the Instagram. Follow on subscribe on YouTube if you can. We put out content as much as we can, and we're looking forward to providing some quality content for you all this NRL season. So once again, thank you so much for joining in, and we'll see you next time.
Up the storm.